Welcome back, folks, in the shop. Today I'm putting a rear facing camera and a front facing DVR camera in my wife's Tahoe. So what I've done so far, just so everybody knows, is I've opened this wire loom here to where I can add the wire, pulled down the headliner in the back here, which is just held up with this little rubber thing. There's a couple of snap clips back here that hold it as well, and these just snap off out of these slots. Here's that piece there. So I've got the wire for the back camera. I've got the back camera here. It's kind of hard to see, but because everything's black, I just zip tied the wire to here, so when the window opens in the back, that it doesn't pull the wire out. So that's where we're at so far. We're going to finish this up and then we'll go to the front. I've got to fish the wire through the headliner to get to the front, so that should go pretty easily. Yeah, so we're gonna finish this up and move on to the front. So what I did, I put some zip ties on here to hold the camera wire to the stretchy wire for the rear defogger or defroster, or whatever you want to call it. This was something she wanted for Christmas, so I got it for her. Okay. Get the light where it's shining up here. I had to cut the tape, the factory tape right here. So let's get it off of here. On this little rubber thing that protects the joint here. So we're going to tape it back up, and we can put the cover back on. Then all we have left is fishing the wire through the headliner to the front, which we'll get some of that as well. Sorry if my hand's in the way. Make sure that's all down. Now we can push this rubber seal back up in the hole here, the grommet. And that seals the wire passage. There we go, back as good as new. All right, now we're ready to feed this cover back on. That piece just snaps in, and then that's back together. I'm going to close this and open the window so you can kind of see what I got going now. All right, so in this section I've started pulling out the weather strip. You have to take the fuse panel cover off of the passenger side, which just snaps off, and then you just pull the little rubber back. But we're going to pull it down around the door frame here so we can have access to the headliner, because we have a sunroof, and I'm going to bring the power in from this side and up and over and across to get to where we're going to put the camera. So we're going to go through that. But again, I started by taking this back here. So we're going to take this handle off, which there's just a little cover that covers them, so you won't get something thin that'll get back behind there and pull it out without marking it up. I'm using a small pick, but the kit comes with a little plastic tool, but I find they don't always get up behind those. And those are 10mm. You want to be careful not to hit the windshield with your wrench. Good way to chip it. Once those bolts are out, there's a couple of clips that it stays in. As you can see, there's this clip. This clip just slides in the hole. Usually there's a little metal thing on there. So what I've got here is some fiberglass rods, which are designed to push something through a small area or under carpet or through a wall cavity or whatever. It'll work just fine with this as well. We're going to put I think these are 3 foot each, so I think we're going to put 3 together and have enough, maybe. Yes, it looks like there'll be enough. So you want to be very careful with these, but we're going to pull down the edge of the headliner ever so slightly here, because we want to be clear of the airbag. We need to be behind the airbag actually. But we're going to fish this in all the way to the back. We have to be careful because this thing has a sunroof. We don't want to catch on the sunroof. Catching on something now. Looks like the AC duct. So, there it goes. You just don't have to work it in and out until you get it to go where you want. And sometimes it takes a little finesse. So we're just gonna set this out of the way here. Now that gives us access. You have to be careful for the airbag, because there is an airbag in this. We're gonna back this out some and try and get it to stay in the channel here. kind of in a little side channel. This is all the way to the back right there. Okay, so now I have the wire, or the fish all the way through. We're going to connect this wire puller to it just by threading it on. And then we're going to take this cable that we want to run to the front. We're going to fish it through there and then pull this rubber down on it. Put some tape on it to keep it on the fish here, wire fish. I just want the tape on here loosely. I'm not trying to seal it up or any of that. I'm just trying to make sure it can't come undone during the pull, because what we're going to do is pull this through to the front. I'm going to get it in the hole so that that is clear. We're going to make sure there's no tangle right there, no twists. All right, and we're going to let that hang, and we'll go back to the front and pull from the front. All right, so we're back to the front now. I've got the wire hooked on in the back. We're going to watch carefully and just slowly bring this out. I'm going to go ahead and take these loose as I'm pulling them out and put them back in my sleeve here. And this just fishes that wire right through the slot that we just slid it in. Bring that all the way to the front here and pull that down. And just like that, now we have all the cable to the front without taking the whole headliner down. Find the end of my tape here. The other end. All right, and we'll do the same thing to get it to the middle here shortly. So now I'm past the point in the middle, so I can put that seal back up. Which the little pinch seal that goes along the pinch weld there is what holds the headliner up on the edge. Okay, so back to the front here. Fish this through in the direction that we want it to go. That should be across there. Get this wire past that point of the airbag there. Where we want this to go from. All the slack out. We're going to need it. That'll give you just enough slack in your cable too to do this on a Tahoe. Or a Suburban, actually, but oh, excuse me. All right, so we got to take this piece out to be able to fish the wire over and clear, and we'll come out up here and we'll stick the camera up where it's not in the way of this texture. We may even put it down here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Depends how much cable we have and whatnot. But anyway, this cover right here has to come off, and you got to get back behind it with something where you can pry it out. Gently. Don't go like a bull in a china shop or you'll tear it up. But see, so there's 4 clips here and then 2 tabs on the back there. I guess I should have pulled from the front first. But anyway, up in here, I'll see if I can get where you can see them, but there's 2 torque screws way up there in the front. Yep. 1, 2, I believe that's it. It's just a tick. Yep. And they are a T15. I had to go look in the all data. Get your little pry tool and be able to all right, that's back together. Now let's find our fish cable. Now this is 3 foot long, so we know it's up here somewhere. So in this case, it's above the sunroof, so we got to take that out. Anyway, so these 2 clips here, and this one didn't even come out, it just came off. wires here. Anyway, I want that back on there. So it is ready to go back in. That time should be a little better. Yep, there we are. And here's our two cables. That we want. This is what my wife asked for Christmas, was a dash cam. So it's what we got her. It's a couple days after Christmas now. I'm out here in my shop installing it. Okay. Let's figure out where we want this camera real quick. It's gonna have to be up here to be clear of that. Go ahead and power everything up, make sure it's operating as it should before I stick it somewhere. Okay, so it needs to be right here to be clear of the little dots in the visual field. And I want to go just a little further. All right. This center of the hood up. And I can't see any of the dots, so that should be good there. So that tells us where we want it to be. So I can turn this thing off, stop it from dinging. My God, that's annoying. ZM, why do y'all do that mess? Nobody likes a dinger that just continues to go on. Turn it off after about 10 seconds, good God. Your service techs don't like it. Your customers don't like it. The fat one is the rear camera. The skinny one is the 5-amp power supply. So we want to get them both plugged in where they go, and then take the excess wire out. Should be pretty easy, but we want to leave enough slack to be able to make adjustments, take the camera down, you know, whatever we need to do. So we want to leave the slack in it. Okay. So, as you can see here, I just strapped the wires up to here so they're not dragging on these metal pieces. I just want it to where it's out of the way, not causing a problem. And now we're ready to put the console back up and all the passenger side pieces back up and put this thing back together. All right, so let's get you back here again, folks. I just got about 10 minutes worth of battery left, so I need to be quick here. All right. When you're doing this, you want to be careful not to hit your OnStar button, because they will answer the phone and start talking to you and treat you like an imbecile. Not really, they won't treat you like an imbecile, but they will listen in for a few minutes, make sure everything is okay. All right. Pain in the butt. It is a pain in the butt. There's that one. All right, screws are back in. So we're gonna snap this little cover back up and on. Oh yeah, it's gotta go this way to align everything. All right, cover's back in. Let's give it a check here. Make sure the camera powers up before we close everything back off. And it does. Okay. All right, let's finish up on the passenger side over there. I'm gonna move the camera for you so you can see what's going on. So again, we want to make sure the wires are behind the airbag setup. And I'm putting this one in between the sunroof drain and the airbag setup. So, and then we want it clear of the screw holes where the handle goes back in, right here and right here, so that when we set this up here and get it in position, it's not in the way. There we go. We're gonna give this a good bath here in a minute too, on the inside, and get everything cleaned up. Because we took this everywhere for the holidays, and with most of the family. So it's dirty. You want to make these fairly tight. They don't have to be lug wrench tight, but they need to be tight. Put your trim covers back on, and then finish knocking your seal back in. Sometimes the seal doesn't want to go back in, and you have to just kind of work it with a tool. It's usually just a matter of the gap is a little tight or something. Okay. Now our seal is back where we want it. Our wires are in where we want them. Tucked in neatly. So all we have to do is tuck them in the bottom the rest of the way and call this one done. Which I'm gonna zip tie them up and put the cover back in down here. Okay, so I opened the passenger side fuse cover to jump her in. So what I did, I set up and put a jumper in the F26, which if you look down here at the list here, F26 is the USB plug. So that, our power supply for the USB. So that powers the USB ports all the way through the truck. I didn't want this on when the truck was just parked, and I know that the USB plugs do not stay powered on very long after the vehicle is shut off. So I decided to jump her into that. So I'm going to show you what I did here so you can kind of see. These little jumpers are really neat, but GM's put some of these new 3 fuse units in here, or 3-leg fuse units in here. So I've just bought some, and what it does, it gives you the fuse for the original circuit and then gives you a secondary circuit that this wire comes off of. And I just got the same size fuse, a 10 amp 3-leg fuse to power it. Now this particular one doesn't have 2 wires, but typically the 3-leg fuses like this will have 2 circuits fed off of this, and the center feed is generally your power tap. and it feeds the 2 circuits, you know, that are run off of this. So GM has 2 circuits running on 1 fuse. So anyway, that's what's going on. But so F26 is what I chose to hook up to, and there it's hooked up. I've got it jumpered, got the power run down, I've got a ground up here into the chassis. So we're grounded well, and this all goes to a cigarette lighter port, which they don't put in these vehicles anymore. Why, I don't know, but as of 2025, I don't see a cigarette lighter port anywhere. So what I did, I just bought me a little port. I'm gonna zip tie this up under the truck, under the front somewhere, where it can be accessible, you know, for the USB port on here. But also, so if I need to take it off, I can just unplug it if we have a problem or something like that. So that's what we're gonna finish doing, is finish running these wires and get this all put back together. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of space right here. I just want to wad this up and zip tie it all. Make sure that all my connections are good. I've got insulators on these connectors, so that's all insulated. We're going to go ahead and run this nut up so that it doesn't just vibrate out. And then reposition a little bit here. I'm going to take a zip tie. Around all this. Just zip tie it up real good. Put a second one in the back here. To keep everything nice and tight. We'll clip the ends off, so they're not just hanging out there in the way. Stick that up there and then fish the piece back on and put the clip back in. And the little push pin is back in. And we're done. Everything is tucked back where it goes. And now everything is put back together, nice and neat, no wires hanging out.